hear the word innovation, it's really easy to think about things like artificial intelligence, iPhones, maybe a robot delivering food to your restaurant table. But innovation can be much more personal than that. 7 years ago, I was at such a low point in my life that I didn't believe joy existed or was even possible to find. But an unexpected moment led me on a journey of personal innovation, where I ultimately found that joy had always been there. I just had to be open to finding it. My story begins on January 28th, 2017, when my younger brother Kevin unexpectedly passed away. He died on my birthday. He made me a big sister. When we were young, we rode around our neighborhood on bicycles and skateboards, and on hot August nights, we played flashlight tag in our neighborhood with our friends. And after we became adults, he and I embarked on an epic cross-country road trip when he helped move me out to law school. After he died, I found it very difficult to process his death. And I was also part of the greater support system to help my parents who were struggling with his loss. In addition to that, I am a mom, a wife, a sister, a daughter, a tenure-track professor at the time here at Clemson. And all of these made it even more difficult for me to figure out how to deal with my grief. Of course, there are also stresses in life that helped compound some of this. Just 2 weeks before Kevin died, my beloved dog of 15 years passed away. And about 2 weeks after he died, the timing belt on my car went out, and I found myself unexpectedly having to find a new car and take on a new car payment. Later that spring, we ended up having to move homes, so we had to pack up and shift ourselves. And all the while, I was trying to work through the tenure process. Each one of these things individually is really stressful. But when compounded, I found that I was falling into a very dark place. I was suffering from severe nightmares and terrible insomnia. I suffered so many areas of my life that I sought medical help, counseling. I tried yoga and Reiki, but none of it seemed to help me. I didn't care about anything anymore, and I just found myself in this dark and downward spiral. About 10 months later, after Kevin died, I took my older daughter, Ivy, who was 12 at the time and is now a sophomore here at Clemson and a member of the women's golf team. I took her Christmas shopping. And we went into a local gift shop, and she went one way and I went the other. And I found myself just perusing bookshelves, not really caring what I was looking at. And at some point, I heard her little voice behind me, and she said, "Mom, I think you should buy this." And I turned around, and there she was, holding in her hands what appeared to be a journal. And I said, "Oh, Ivy, do you want to start a diary or something?" And she said, "Mom, I don't think you should buy this for me. I think you should buy it for you. You have been so unhappy that maybe if you write some of that down, it might make you happy again." Never underestimate the observance of the youth. I realized in that very moment that I had hit rock bottom. My child had been a true witness to my grief and my suffering and my pain. And in the only way that she knew how, she was trying to help me. Well, guess what? I bought that journal that day. And for the next couple of weeks, I stared at it with its empty, lined pages. I am not one to keep a diary myself, and so I had no idea what to write down. But on Christmas Eve, December 31st, 2017, I made a New Year's resolution that I would go ahead for the next 365 days. I would write down just one joy that I could recall from any given day. Now, I want to be honest, I'm also not one to keep New Year's resolutions. So I knew I had to keep this really simple. I'd leave that journal right on my bedside table, and every night just before I turned my light off, I would think about just one joy, and I would date it and write it down in my journal, no explanation necessary. And even if the only thing that I could muster from that day that brought me joy was my first cup of coffee in the morning, then that was okay. That counted. Well, guess what? I kept that New Year's resolution that year. And on December 31st, 2018, I quietly sat down by myself and I reread all 365 moments of joy that I had recorded that year. Examples included Ivy telling me, "I love you," hearing my mom's voice on the telephone, beating my younger daughter Sierra at the card game Uno 5-0, getting an unexpected thank you email from a student, and talking to Kevin at his gravesite. I laughed and I cried when I read all of these, and I immediately made another resolution to do it again. Well, today is August 24th, 2024. To date, I have now recorded 2,427 moments of joy in my life. And I have learned two main things in this process. Number one is that not every day is joyful. But number two is that if you are willing to look really, really hard, you can find at least one fleeting moment of joy in any given 24-hour period of time. My joy journaling saved my life. I not only recognized that joy existed, but I also, through the process, became a more giving, an understanding, and sympathetic person, not only to myself, but to others as well. Now, it is important to note that keeping a joy journal does not eliminate grief or suffering or stress. Those things are part and parcel of our lives. But it does lead you to reflect upon the fact that there is joy in your life if you are just willing and open to finding it. Sharing my journey with you all today, I can tell you, will forever be recorded as my joy of August 24th, 2024. And maybe there are some of you out there right now who perhaps are in a similar place where I was in 2017. Maybe you're grieving. Maybe you're stressing. Maybe you're suffering from something. Perhaps you feel that the universe has given up on you. Or maybe you too are struggling to find joy in your own life. Well, if you are in that place, maybe giving a joy journal is a good idea to start your own journey of personal innovation. It's not expensive. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does prompt you to really look deeply, and even on the worst of days, recognize that joy does exist. You just have to be open to finding it. And you know why that's important? Because you are worth it. Thank you.